He's looking to push the ball down the field. Here's Myles Garrett after the game talking about the 52-yard bomb that he that had Myles looking shocked on the sideline.
I mean, he put it up, and I'm just like, oh, God, who is that even going to? And I wasn't even looking. I'm like, oh, God, please. And he drops it in the bucket, and I'm just like, wow, there's not many guys in the league that can make that throw.
4th and 26 for Sanders. Think about how the season started for the Bears and always been able to run together. Offense are trying to keep him away. Sanders on the move. The pump fake, and he needs the 28, and he'll hit the deck and on down.
Imagine hearing a young quarterback say, imagine when they call plays specifically for me, and realizing that nobody was prepared for what came next in this Cleveland mess. What just unfolded wasn't some small moment. It was one of those situations where the things left unsaid hit harder than the things spoken out loud. Shedeur Sanders stood at the podium and went out of his way to defend Kevin Stefanski against all the people claiming the head coach has been working against him this entire season. He said the right things about Stefanski's coaching, mentioned that their relationship is getting better, and insisted he's glad to be in Cleveland. On the surface, it looked like Shedeur was stepping in to calm everything down, waving off the drama like it was nothing. But if you truly pay attention to his wording, his tone, and the situation he was speaking into, you'll notice something deeper. This press conference didn't clean up the Browns' issues. It exposed how messy they really might be behind the scenes. Here's the scene. A reporter steps up and drops a loaded question that could destroy a rookie quarterback if he panics. They say, all of your supporters say that Kevin Stefanski was working against you. Your own assessment. That isn't a question. That's a reporter tossing a live problem into Shedeur's lap just to see if it blows up. And the way Shedeur reacts shows he knew exactly what was happening. He fires back with, so you just want to start trouble, huh? And that line says everything.
Two biggest days for Shedeur were Wednesday and Thursday. Getting into practice, he's done it. He's worked with Tommy Reese. He's worked with the center, right? What are we correcting this week? What's going better? How am I more comfortable in the huddle? What do I know is coming at me that we need to work on? And he went out there and he played fine. He was not great, but he was more than good enough. He limited bad plays. He made a couple big plays. Like, this is all about little details and going forward because he's got a chance. And for all the crazy talk, and there's a lot of it, it is not crazy to say this kid represents hope.
Yes, he does.
And some of that is the low bar. And a lot of that is the state of the franchise. But he represents hope. And even the craziest people could say, little at a time. And to me, the practice field and just little football details will help him so much. And experience, no matter how Sunday goes, will help him so much. Because the other guys didn't represent hope.
That's
this guy does.
true. There was I felt no hope with
A player who isn't aware of the tension wouldn't respond like that. That type of answer only comes from someone who knows exactly what people are saying online, exactly what fans are whispering, and exactly how his relationship with Stefanski is being talked about. And Shedeur also knows that adding to that conversation publicly could explode the situation even more. But here's where things get interesting. After brushing off the question, he didn't shut it down completely. He actually talked about it. And the way he talked about it is what makes this whole thing even more suspicious. He starts by saying, I can't really control what people do outside the building. I can't do it. That line is calculated. He's distancing himself from his supporters, but he isn't denying their accusations. He isn't saying, my coach never tried to hurt me. He isn't saying, those claims are false. He isn't saying, my supporters are wrong. Instead, he's saying he can't control them. That's not the same as saying they're lying. That's political language, the kind of answer that lets Shedeur keep things peaceful with his coach, while still keeping the door open for the possibility that his supporters aren't imagining things. Then he adds another very intentional line. You act like I go out there and tell them to do whatever they want. Read that again. He isn't saying his supporters are wrong. He's simply saying he didn't tell them to criticize Stefanski. That means they came up with these opinions on their own based on what they've seen from the outside. Shedeur is basically telling everyone that his fans believe Stefanski has been holding him back, and he didn't plant those ideas. He's just clearing himself from the drama without denying anything. A 22-year-old rookie is out here handling questions like someone who's been in the league for 10 years, carefully navigating a landmine of a situation. Once he makes sure he's not directly tied to the controversy, he switches gears to the mandatory praise part of the press conference. He says, I'm just glad to be here. Since I got here, Coach Stefanski has been in charge, and he's done a great job with everything.
Basically, when he hit that seam, Ocho,
it was a wrap.
I saw him on one knee, throw the ball 60 yards and hit the upright, making it look easy.
And making it look really easy, especially if you watch it from TV, like, well, goddamn.
Imagine when I get an off season. Imagine when they call plays specifically for me.
But let's be real. What else is he supposed to say? Shedeur is a first-year starter finally being given the reins this week. Stefanski just named him the starter for the matchup against the 49 ERs. What benefit does Shedeur gain by stirring up more problems? He can't go up there and say, "Yeah, my coach has been making my life tough," because that can ruin your career before it even begins. So he does what any smart rookie would do. He praises the coach and tries to cool down the fire without saying anything that can be used against him later. But here's what people need to understand. Fans genuinely believe Stefanski was holding Shedeur back, and that's the only reason that question even made it into the press conference. This isn't a random internet rumor anymore. An accredited reporter felt comfortable asking about it in front of multiple cameras, which means the idea has gone mainstream inside Cleveland. And when something reaches that level, it means people are seeing enough to wonder. So the real question becomes, did Shedeur's public defense of Stefanski actually settle the issue, or did it simply put a thin layer of paint over a crack that will reopen the moment something goes wrong? The way Shedeur described his relationship with Stefanski was interesting too. He said it's definitely like a coach relationship, with Stefanski telling him what to do on and off the field. Think about that. That's the most basic way you can describe a coach-player dynamic. It doesn't give warmth. It doesn't give strong support. It doesn't sound like he's talking about someone who has always believed in him or helped him grow. It sounds like a functional, simple, "you tell me what to do and I'll do it" arrangement. That's fine, but it's not how most rookie quarterbacks describe coaches who have been fully behind them since day one. Then he says, "We've definitely grown. I'm just happy to be here because our relationship and everything else has gotten better." And the key word in that sentence is grown. When you say a relationship has grown, it usually means it wasn't strong at first, that things weren't smooth early on, that something needed to change before things could improve. You don't say a relationship has grown when it was great from the start. You say that when there were issues that needed work. And that small detail quietly confirms what fans already suspected, that the start between Stefanski and Shedeur wasn't as perfect as the press conference tried to make it sound. So in the most respectful way possible, Shedeur Sanders basically admitted that his relationship with Kevin Stefanski wasn't perfect early on, but it eventually improved. For a rookie quarterback to even hint at that is a big deal, even if he said it with a smile. And that sets up the next part of this situation, the part that makes everything so confusing. Shedeur Sanders just became the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut since 1999, which says everything about how rough this franchise has been for young players. He went out there against the Raiders and put up 209 yards, a touchdown, and completed 11 of 20 passes, plus 1 interception. A normal rookie mistake, but nothing devastating. He showed arm strength, pocket control, and real poise. He even avoided sacks, going down just once the entire game, which is impressive for someone in his first NFL action. By any reasonable standard, his debut wasn't just solid. It was the kind of performance that should have earned him full support from his coaching staff moving forward. But that's not what happened. Kevin Stefanski's comments after the game were surprisingly cold. He didn't hand Shedeur a game ball, even though the win was historic for a Browns rookie. Something fans would have celebrated instantly. Instead, Myles Garrett got the spotlight. Then the next day, Stefanski used cautious, hedged wording when discussing the quarterback situation, as if the rookie hadn't just pulled off a major moment for the franchise. And when someone asked him directly about Shedeur, he couldn't even bring himself to say Shedeur's name clearly. All of this made people believe Stefanski didn't fully buy into Shedeur as the guy, and that idea spread through media circles fast. Shedeur's fans, many who followed him from Jackson State to Colorado, saw everything building up over time. They saw him drop down the depth chart early, running scout team drills instead of getting first-team reps. They saw Stefanski publicly back Dillon Gabriel repeatedly, even when the offense was stuck in neutral and begging for a spark. They saw Shedeur have to re-earn his spot every single week, even after playing well. And of course, the game ball moment didn't help. They saw Stefanski avoiding full-throated support for a rookie who had just helped them snap a 2-decade drought. It was only natural that people connected the dots and began saying Stefanski simply didn't believe in Shedeur Sanders. And whether you call it sabotage or just a coach who never fully wanted a quarterback he didn't personally pick, the effect is identical. Instead of giving a young quarterback confidence, structure, and belief, you end up giving him mixed messages, lukewarm comments, and weekly evaluations like it's a reality show. That's not the environment any rookie needs, especially one carrying the weight of a city hungry for a real long-term quarterback. So when Shedeur's supporters started sounding the alarm, they weren't inventing narratives out of thin air. They were reacting to actual patterns. They were watching how Stefanski treated Shedeur compared to how he treated other quarterbacks. They were paying attention and they weren't imagining things. Shedeur had to address all of this at the press conference, and honestly, he handled it like a pro. He couldn't confirm any accusations about Stefanski working against him. That would damage his career and burn the relationship with the coach he needs right now. But he also couldn't call his long-term supporters liars. Many of those fans have been riding with him for years and want him to succeed more than anything. So he threaded the needle perfectly. He didn't deny what people were saying, but he distanced himself from it. He praised Stefanski, but not in a dramatic way, just enough to keep things steady. He acknowledged that the relationship has grown, which subtly tells everyone that it needed to grow, meaning there were bumps early on. And he did all of this without giving a single quote that could blow up later and get turned against him. It was a smart move for someone in his position. The timing of everything also matters because Stefanski had already named Shedeur the starter for the next game against the San Francisco 49 ERs, even though Dillon Gabriel had been cleared from concussion protocol and technically could return. That decision showed Stefanski couldn't hide behind health excuses anymore. He had to pick his starting quarterback. And yes, he picked Shedeur. But even that moment came with question marks. Stefanski didn't come out and say, "Shedeur is our quarterback moving forward," or anything that signals long-term belief. Instead, he said Shedeur would start this week and they'd see how it goes. That's not trust. That's a trial run, a temporary decision, a coach still leaving himself room to pivot. So when Shedeur Sanders gets asked about accusations of sabotage, he's stuck in one of the toughest spots any rookie quarterback can face.
Own assessment told you like Dillon Gabriel more, you started Dillon Gabriel more. That's not me saying that you're undermining or you're cutting down Shedeur Sanders. That's me saying you stink at evaluating. That's me saying you're not good at the evaluating quarterback process if you genuinely thought that Dillon Gabriel throwing the ball 5 yards a throw was going to be better for the team and was going to provide better results than what Shedeur Sanders can do. That's where I have a...
On one hand, he should be excited because he was just named the starter again. On the other hand, his own coach still won't fully back him in public, and that has to feel frustrating for any competitor. He can't take a shot at his coach without looking ungrateful, but he also can't pretend the questions are coming out of nowhere because everyone has seen the way the situation has played out. So Shedeur tries to give an answer that respects every side without stepping into a trap that could damage his future. He knows exactly why people are asking these questions, and he knows they aren't out of line for wondering why he's been treated the way he has. And that brings us to another part of the press conference that had people buzzing. Shedeur was respectful, calm, and appreciative when reporters asked about former President Donald Trump praising him on social media after the win. "I'm grateful that he took time out of his day to speak out and help," Shedeur said, responding to Trump posting that Shedeur Sanders had a great win in his first game as a pro for Cleveland. Trump even added, "Great pair of jeans, I told you so," reminding everyone that he was vocal during the draft about Shedeur falling all the way to the 5th round. Even though many analysts believed he should have been picked earlier. This moment shows just how big Shedeur's story has become. When the President of the United States is talking about you, the spotlight isn't local anymore, it's national. This isn't just a Brown storyline anymore. This is something people everywhere are paying attention to. And that level of attention makes Kevin Stefanski's job even tougher because every decision he makes with Shedeur is being watched, replayed, and studied by fans, media, former players, and even political figures. If Stefanski keeps staying vague with his public support, if he benches Shedeur after one rough game or retreats to Dillon Gabriel at the first opening, the backlash will be massive. Right now, Cleveland is becoming a test case for how NFL teams should handle young quarterbacks who enter the league with a huge following and a ton of pressure. Shedeur Sanders is not like most 5th-round picks who quietly develop behind the scenes. His father is a Hall of Famer. He has millions of people following his journey, and he's been in the national spotlight since college. Every move Cleveland makes will be discussed and judged. That's why Stefanski has to recognize reality. Lukewarm comments and half support won't cut it. He needs to either fully commit to Shedeur and help him grow or be upfront and say he doesn't think Shedeur is the long-term answer. This halfway approach, where Shedeur has to constantly reprove himself while his coach avoids saying anything encouraging in public, is the worst possible setup for everyone involved. And through all of this, Shedeur continues to show maturity well beyond his years. He's still locked in on football. He's not causing chaos, not asking for trades, not talking down on his team, and not weaponizing the media. He's saying the right things, keeping his head down, and working hard every day to earn his spot. He also knows the cleanest way to shut down rumors and calm the noise is simple: keep winning. If he stacks more wins and keeps performing, Stefanski won't be able to hold back public support forever because the alternative would make the organization look unprepared. But let's be real. The fact that Shedeur even has to defend his coach against sabotage accusations shows that something is clearly off inside the building. In healthy NFL situations, where the coach and quarterback are in sync, these kinds of accusations never appear because everyone can see the support clearly. The Browns' communication and relationships are messy right now, even if nobody wants to admit it. And Stefanski carries much of the responsibility because he's the leader. He controls the messages, and he chooses how to talk about his players in public. If people think he doesn't believe in Shedeur, then he's the one who has to fix that. Not by having a 22-year-old rookie rescue him in front of reporters, but by being direct and supportive, with his own words and actions. Now everyone's attention is on the big matchup against the San Francisco 49 ERs. Their defense is experienced, fast, and physical. A completely different test compared to the Raiders. This is where we'll learn more about Shedeur as a pro quarterback. If he plays well again and shows the first win wasn't a one-time burst, then the pressure on Stefanski to fully commit will skyrocket. But if Shedeur struggles, if the game gets messy and the numbers look rough, that's when the real truth will come out. That's when we'll see whether Stefanski truly wants to help Shedeur develop or whether he's been waiting for an excuse to turn back to Dillon Gabriel. My guess is that Shedeur Sanders will have some strong moments and some tough moments against San Francisco. And that's completely normal for a rookie quarterback facing a defense stacked with experience and talent. But he'll show enough sparks, enough raw ability, and enough of that calm confidence that anyone being honest will agree he should keep starting and keep growing. The real question is whether Kevin Stefanski can evaluate Shedeur fairly, or if his own doubts will push him toward decisions that hurt the team instead of helping it. And after watching Shedeur's press conference, it's clear who he is and what he brings to the table. He carries himself older than his age. He understands how to handle tough political questions without creating new problems, and he doesn't let outside noise throw him off his mission. Playing football and winning games. Those are real franchise quarterback traits, and they showed up in every answer he gave. If Stefanski and the Browns are smart, they'll recognize exactly what they've got in Shedeur Sanders and start supporting him like a true long-term QB. They'll stop creating unnecessary drama, stop opening the door for speculation, and start building around a young quarterback who has the skills and mindset to be something special. Nothing slows down quarterback development like mixed messages, and nothing speeds it up like real belief from the coaching staff. And that's why the next few weeks are massive for everyone involved. How Shedeur performs on the field will help shape his immediate future in Cleveland. And how Stefanski handles the quarterback room could decide whether he keeps his job past this season. The entire Browns organization is standing at a crossroads. They must decide if they want to finally be a team that develops young talent the right way, or if they want to continue repeating the same mistakes that have led them to cycle through 42 starting quarterbacks since 1999. That number alone tells the whole story about why this moment matters. So here's the real conversation. Do you think Shedeur handled that press conference the right way? Is Stefanski truly working against him, or are fans reading too deep into the coach's behavior? And the biggest question of all, what happens if Shedeur struggles against San Francisco? Will Stefanski be patient and committed, or will he use one rough game as the excuse he's been waiting for to go back to Dillon Gabriel? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because everyone watching this saga has an opinion, and this story is far from settled. And make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, because we're breaking down every twist, every game, and every move in what has become the most fascinating quarterback storyline in the entire NFL.